Hey you, if you're new, welcome. I'm Kristen, and I'm about to show you how to cook up all of this week's meals.
I ain't afraid of the dark, 'cause once you let the light in, you won't see the beautiful stars shining down from afar. No, I ain't afraid of the dark.
To get this meal started off, you want to start off by cutting up your chicken and your sausage. Now, I cut mine into little circles and I cut my chicken into bite sizes. Cooked this up for about 15 minutes and seasoned it up with a little bit of onion powder, garlic powder, and Tony seasoning. I cut my bell pepper and my onion up into bite sizes. Now, once you get this meat cooked up, you want to go on and take it out of the pan and leave all them juices down in there because that's flavor, baby. So we want that. We're going to toss in our peppers and our onions and cook them up for a good maybe less than 10 minutes. I mean, it really depends on if you like yours light crunchy like I like mine, or if you want yours to be a little soft. I tossed in about a tablespoon of minced garlic in with my peppers and onions just to go on and give them a little bit of that flavor. Once you have your peppers and your onions to the crunchiness that you desire, go on and get them bad boys out and drop you in some of that chicken broth. You want to make sure that you add enough of the chicken broth to cover your pasta, but it don't have to be super swimming. So cover that bad boy up, cook up that pasta for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to go in and add in the rest. You can use whatever kind of pasta that you like, but this is the one that I've really been liking lately, and this is a good dish to use it down in. Originally, I was going to make my own sauce, but I seen this jar of sauce up in the pantry, and I was like, nah, I need to go on and get this thing used up. So I went ahead and tossed in about half of the jar onto the pasta and leave that juice now because the pasta is not going to absorb all of that, but you still want that juice. So I went ahead and tossed back in my meat and covered it up with Parmesan cheese and let it sit covered for about 5 minutes so that it could melt. Then I brought in my peppers and onions and mixed everything up. Now, I did not want any additional cooking on my peppers and onions because they were the exact crispness that I desired. But if you want to cook yours up a little bit more, go on and toss it in all at one time, whip that thing up, cover it up for 5 minutes, and let it warm up. I only added about half of the fresh Parmesan cheese, but if you like yours extra cheesy, go on and dump that whole thing in. I topped mine off on my plate with a little bit of the Cajun seasoning, the Tony seasoning, and a little bit of black pepper, and that bad boy was ready to go. To get this meal started, you want to go ahead and get your ground meat cooked up. Now, you can use ground beef or ground turkey. It don't matter. Just pick which one you like. Get it down in there and get it browned up. Now, I also top mine off with some onion powder and some garlic powder because that goes on everything. Now, if you're a prepper and you want to get this done ahead of time, you can cook it the day before or whatever, throw it in the fridge, and when you get ready to make your meal, all you got to do is toss all this into the crock pot, and that thing is a real dump and go meal. You want to make sure that you get it all the way browned up before you drain it and take it out of the pan and put it into your crock pot because you want to make sure to get as much of that grease out as you can. I went ahead and cooked up my meat as if I was making tacos and seasoned the meat with the taco packet. I'm pretty sure you probably can just toss it all into the crock pot. I mean, I just like to go on and make sure my meat is good and seasoned. And because I'm going to be throwing in some other stuff too, so I just want my meat to taste just like taco meat. I went ahead and simmered up my meat and as if I was making tacos, but I did not simmer it all the way through so that I could carry over some of that juice over into the crock pot. Once you get that meat looking like what you want it to look like, then we're going to go on and toss it right into the crock pot. Now, I did drain my beans and my corn. You do not want to drain your diced chilies. I added 2 cans and threw in a tablespoon or 2 of the minced garlic, the crushed tomatoes. Make sure you go on and get the big can of that because that's what gives it its base. And then you want to go on and add in your beef broth. Now, the beef broth, I added in a good bit of it because I wanted mine to be soupy. And so if you want yours to be a little bit thicker, then just add a little bit less broth. You can go on and add you in some broth, and while it's cooking, if you're thinking, this is looking a little too thick, I want it to thin out, go on and add you in some more of that beef broth. Just remember that you can always add in some fluid, but you're not going to be able to take it out. Once you got everything in there, then we're going to go on and hit it with some flavor. Now, I added some cumin, some chili powder, and some oregano. Now, I wished I would have went ahead and left out the chili powder because to me, it kind of made it taste a little bit too much like chili. And since I had already seasoned up my meat with some of the taco flavor, it really did not need the chili powder. So if I were you, I would just go on and leave that out. Now, I also added in some onion powder because you know that goes down into everything, and a little bit of salt and pepper, and that bad boy cooked up on low for about 5 hours. Once it cooked for about 5 hours, I took off the lid, gave it a good stir, and that liquid level was right where it needed to be. To get mine served up, I went ahead and tossed a few spoonfuls down into the bowl and topped it off with some cheese. Then put in some of these tortilla strips, but let me just tell you, I just prefer to go on and get me some tortilla chips, crunch them bad boys up and toss them in, but you go on and do whichever one that you prefer. Now, we also want to make sure we put in some of that fresh red onion because it tastes good on almost everything. To get this meal started, you want to go on and get your peppers and your chicken chopped up. Now, I stuck to the sweet peppers and used a yellow and an orange pepper, and I also cut everything up into bite sizes. Again, you can cut it up however you like to eat yours, and you can use whichever kind of peppers that you like, but this is just what I went with. So once you get your vegetables and your chicken chopped up, you want to go on in and make your sauce before you get everything cooked up so that it has time to get together and get happy. You want to start off with making your cornstarch and water slurry and then add in your additional stuff. Now, that's the little bit right there of honey that I added. I should have added more because it really would have just helped to make it a little bit stickier. But, you live and you learn. So I added in all of my ingredients, stirred everything up, and set it to the side while I went ahead and cooked up the rest of the meal. Now you want to go on and get your chicken cooked up. I tossed mine down into it and added some onion powder, garlic powder, pepper, and some soy sauce. Let them things cook up, and then we're going to move it on. If you don't know, I prefer the low and slow method, so I cooked my chicken over medium, and made sure I cooked it all the way through. And then we're going to go on and take it out and put in the veggies. Once you get that chicken out, you want to make sure that you leave that flavor down there in the pan because we're going to use it for our vegetables. Now, I don't know if you guys watched my preview video, but I'm not a fan of these carrot chips. But if you want to use them, go on and use them. I just prefer the carrot sticks. And my grocery pickup order got messed up. So we're going to go on and use them, put them down in there, and let these bad boys steam up for a few minutes. And then we're going to go in and add some flavor. I'll let my vegetables steam in the pan for about 10 minutes, and then I want to go on and get them things tossed around. Add me in some minced garlic and some ground ginger. Now, you want to put this down into the bottom of the pan so that you can kind of get it warmed up real quick. And then we're going to go on and toss it all together, add in our meat, and then bring in our sauce. Go on and give your sauce a good little mix around before you toss it in, and then lather that baby on there and whip it up. Once you get it all stirred up, you want to go on and simmer it on low for about 10 minutes. Now, you want to make sure that you are not up too high because you're not trying to cook anything. All you're trying to do is just marry all them flavors together and let them get happy. Now, I went ahead and used me one of these Jasmine instant rices because I'm the only one that eats rice. But if you have a rice cooker, go on and cook you up some rice, toss it down into your bowl, toss on your vegetables. Now, I hit mine with a little bit of that soy sauce on the top because I just think it just adds some really good flavor. But you don't have to if you don't want to. Make sure you top it off with some of them green onions. To get this meal started, you want to go on and toss you in some hot dogs onto your pan, or however you want to cook it up. You don't have to do it on the pan. This is just the way that I like to cook mine. But you also want to make sure that you have you some chili on hand. Now, I had some of the Dad's chili that I made a few weeks back in the freezer, so I just pulled that out and made us up some of this. But if you don't have none, then, use whatever kind of chili that you got on hand. The link to the Dad's chili is going to be down in the description box. Once my hot dogs were cooked, I went ahead and cut them up into little bite sizes and warmed up my chili. This meal is really good for those of us who are trying to stay away from the carbs and pump up the protein. I actually came up with this recipe out of curiosity, and it actually turns out to be one of my most favorite ways of eating some leftover chili. Once you get everything cooked up, warmed up, and all that good stuff, we're going to go on and toss it down into the bowl and add in our hot dogs. And I also diced me up some red onion. I didn't show that because I don't know if you need to see that or not, but I did dice me up some red onion. Now, this right here is what makes it. Make sure you add in that spicy brown mustard just like you were going to be making you a chili dog. And I'm telling you, that is where it is at. Look at that thing right there. Oh, it's so good. To get this meal started off, you want to go on and get your bacon cooked up. Now, you don't have to do it on the stovetop. You can do it, however you prefer to cook up your bacon. You just want to go on and get that thing cooked up. I do recommend that you stick to the thick cut bacon because we're going in and making that BLT. One way of not having to add a whole, 15 pounds of bacon is to get you that thick cut bacon, and it's going to get you that flavor that you desire. You can use whatever kind of tomato that you want. I use the vine ripen, and you want to cut these bad boys up really thick. You basically want to make these be basically like your hamburger patty, and everything else is just like the toppings. I used a sweet onion. You can use whatever kind of onion that you like. I just really like to throw in them sweet onions where I can. And I went ahead and peeled it up so that I could leave the whole onion whole and cut me off some really thin slices because you're making a sandwich, so you don't want them too thick or else everything is just going to be super messy. So for me, I like to go in and make my onion thin and throw on as many as I want. To make the sauce, you want to go on and throw you in some mayonnaise and the spicy brown mustard and whip it up together. To me, it tastes better whenever you blend those flavors together rather than just throwing on some mayonnaise and some mustard. Now, to get this BLT built, I'm going to go on and put my sweetbread down and top it off with some of that sauce that we just made. And you're basically going to be layering in that sauce the whole time that you're building your sandwich. I go on and hit mine with the salt and pepper, and because I only want the salt and pepper on my tomatoes. I don't really want that on my bacon and my lettuce. I just want it on my tomatoes. So I'm going to go in and put lettuce on both sides of my bun and top it off with the sauce all along the way. When you layer in that flavor all throughout, then it's not just a plain Jane BLT. We got flavor bombs going off everywhere. I put some of the sauce on the back side of the tomato, not the salt and pepper side, but the back side, and put it down there, and it not only helps to bring in flavor, but it also helps to hold this thing together. Using that sweetbread also brings in a whole nother flavor, so I highly recommend that you try it with the sweetbread. But I'm just saying, that thing right there is so good. If you need a meal plan with a grocery list, all you have to do is click the link down in the description. That's going to carry you over to my Patreon, and once you get there, become a member, go on and get a download, grab some groceries, and come on back and I can show you how to cook it up. Now, Thursday is Thanksgiving, and I hope you have a very happy holiday. I will not be uploading on Thursday, but I will be back. So you guys have a great holiday, and I will see you very soon.
Day beside